Hi Sibs. This week I'm going to explain how you can use Kendall tau calculations to compare two lists of unique items. Now you may not think you care about this, but you should, because it's how we're scoring our Dancing with the Stars fantasy picks. And I'm going to explain it using the results from last season. If you're someone who is not interested in our Dancing with the Stars fantasy picks, hopefully you'll be interested in the math, which is applicable to a lot of things on its own. So, the problem that we have is that Dancing with the Stars ultimately generates a list of the ordering of the couples go home, from the person who won to the very first person eliminated. And when we do our fantasy picks, we pick the order we think that they're going to go home in. So we end up with something that looks a little bit like this. I've taken just the top four winners from last season and adjusted all of our picks so that all four of them are shown in order to keep things simple, which also makes it look like Mary and I did a lot better than we actually did. So, looking at this, it's a little bit hard to figure out who won. There's just a bunch of names, and how do you figure out which one is closest to the results? None of them are exactly the same. So first, let's clean it up a bit by just putting the first letter of the star's first name. That at least makes it look a little bit less cluttered. And then we can look, if we compare the results with Mom and Dad's picks, we can see that they did pretty well. Kelly and Zendaya are exactly in the right places, and they only have Allie and Jacoby reversed. Danielle and Thomas, on the other hand, did not do so well. They don't have any of them in the right place, but they're not as bad off as they could be because they at least have Kelly and Zendaya in the right order. So, the question is, what does a list really mean? And the list is actually saying several things at once, which is why it's complicated to figure this out. This list of four things is actually making 6 separate statements. It's saying that Kelly comes before Zendaya, and Kelly also comes before Jacoby, and Kelly also comes before Allie. Zendaya comes before Jacoby, Zendaya comes before Allie, and Jacoby comes before Allie. So what we can do to compare the list is we can count how many of these statements the actual list and the guess list agree on. So we start with the table like this. So down the left hand side I've listed all of the possible combinations that we need to worry about, and then we'll fill it out with the results as each person's picks come out. I'll start with just the results and I'll do them step by step. So first, between Allie and Jacoby, we know Jacoby came first. Then between Kelly and Allie, we know that Kelly came first. Between Allie and Zendaya, we know that Zendaya came first. Between Jacoby and Kelly, Kelly came first. Between Jacoby and Zendaya, Zendaya came first. And between Kelly and Zendaya, Kelly came first. Now, I won't make you sit through all the rest, we'll just fill it all out. Now, just first blush looking at this, you think this just looks like gibberish, it doesn't really help me figure anything out. But if we go and we mark the ones where our picks disagree with the actual results, we can begin to see how this helps. And then if we add up how many of them we got wrong, then this is actually the calculation for Kendall tau distance, which tells you how different a list, one list is from another list, where both lists have the same items in them, but they may be in a different order. So looking at this, we can see that Mom and Dad did the best. They only got one pair in the wrong order. All the rest were correct. Danielle and Thomas did the worst. They only got one pair in the right order, and all the rest were in wrong order. Now, if you're a big fan of golf, which I know Dad is, then this may suit you well, but I would really prefer for our scores, for getting a higher score, to be better. I like that better. So I want to reverse it and do the Kendall tau similarity. I just coined that. It may or may not be a real thing, but the point is, we count the things we got right and add that up. That way higher score is better, and in the end it comes out to the same thing. So by this ordering, again, Mom and Dad win with 5 points out of a possible 6, and Danielle and Thomas are the biggest losers with only 1 point out of 6. The other problem is we don't know the results all at once. How do we handle that? We're only going to find out each week who gets eliminated. So, what we can do, though, is when someone gets eliminated, we automatically know the answer to several of the questions being posed. In this case, when Allie was eliminated, we know that Jacoby and Kelly and Zendaya all come before Allie. So we can check all of our results against that to see if we agree with that. And every place we're right, we get 1 point. So here you can see that Mary and I get 2 points. Kevin and Brianna get 2 points. Mom and Dad get 2 points. Danielle and Thomas, they do not get any points because they didn't have anyone coming before Allie. Then the next week, well, the next time, when Jacoby gets eliminated, we now know that Kelly and Zendaya must come before Jacoby. So Mary and I had Kelly coming before Jacoby. Mom and Dad had Kelly and Zendaya coming before Jacoby. So they get 2 points, we get 1, nobody else gets anything. Finally, when we we find out that Kelly is number 1 and Zendaya is number 2, everyone gets 1 point because everyone had Kelly put before Zendaya in their rankings. Now, if you are not a family member and you don't give a flip about Dancing with the Stars, that's probably all you really care to know. If you want, you can go look at this Wikipedia article on Kendall tau distance, or if you do a brief search on YouTube, you'll find a very difficult to understand video on Kendall tau coefficient, which you might really enjoy if you're into that sort of thing. But moving on for my family, the question then becomes, how do we really apply this? We're going to have a lot more than 4 things, and you, I'm sure, haven't done the math, but you end up with a whole lot of different pairs, and I'm not planning to put a big chart of all the different pairs and have us calculate it that way. But we can get the same result using the list the way we have them in the spreadsheet. So here's how it would work. When Alexandra and Mark get eliminated, we, again, as I said, know that everyone comes before them. So for each of the pick lists, we just count how many times we have someone coming first. So Mary and I had Kelly and Jacoby before them, so we get 2 points for that. Kevin and Brianna had the same, so they get 2 points. Mom and Dad had the same, so they get 2 points. Danielle and Thomas unfortunately put Alexandra first, so they don't get any points. Then when Jacoby and Karina are eliminated, Mary and I get 1 point for having Kelly and Derek before them. Mom and Dad get 2 points for Kelly and Zendaya. Kevin and Brianna and Danielle and Thomas don't get anything because they didn't have anyone before Jacoby who hadn't already left. And then finally, we get the final results. We know that Kelly comes before Zendaya, and we all get 1 point because we all said that Kelly would come before Zendaya. And you see the points come out to exactly the same as what we just did before. So to sum it all up, whenever a couple's eliminated, you can calculate the number of points you get by counting the number of not yet eliminated couples that you put above the couple that just left. If you do that, that's the exact answer, and that's what I'll be doing on the sheet. Well, that's it for this week. Looking forward to seeing Dancing with the Stars and seeing who gets those points tomorrow, and stay shiny!